So, in this video, we've got a 124 kill game with a Tommy gun on Devastation Conquest, and of course, this was the one which was voted by you guys in the poll in the previous week as for the next 100 game you guys wanted to watch. So, stick around in this video. I'm going to briefly, very quickly, talk about the pros and cons of this weapon, and then I'm going to go into more detail on this game in particular and where I'm going to find all these kills to reach the 124 kills. If you also want to see the specializations that I use on this weapon, then of course check out the playlist section as always, where I've got a playlist there with 4 videos for each of the 4 classes in Battlefield 5, covering all weapons and my preferred choices for the specializations on those weapons. So I am using the 50 round magazine compared to the normal standard 20 round mag, and this is pretty obvious because the 50 round magazine allows you to fire for a longer period of time. It allows you to maximize the amount of potential kills per magazine and gives you a better chance of winning multiple gunfights. Whereas if you go for the single 20, the smaller 20 round magazine, you're going to probably die quite a lot because you're reloading way more often, and if while you're reloading, of course you cannot shoot and fight back against enemies in any gunfight. So the 20 round magazine option is therefore better on maps like Rotterdam, which are more open, where you're only encountering 1 to 2 enemies at a time and you've got plenty of time to reload. Of course, going for the 20 round magazine option, it will give you a much faster fire rate and you can have a faster time to kill overall, which is therefore better for winning and staying alive those one-on-one gunfights in those more open maps. However, if you're on maps like Devastation, Underground, Almage, the 50 rounds is what you're going to want, because you're going to be encountering multiple enemies, and needing to win multiple gunfights at a time. Now, the Tommy gun overall doesn't have many disadvantages. The main disadvantage with it, of course, is its ability at long range. Tap fire is not too bad when you use semi-automatic mode. However, the damage drop-off is huge. So it is a very close range weapon to use, and in comparison to the ZK, which is probably the Tommy gun and the ZK being the 2 best guns, in my opinion, in the medic class for aggressive medic gameplay. The ZK is going to be better, with better damage drop-off to have better damage at range. However, you've got the 50 round magazine here, which arguably makes it better at close range for maps like Underground and Almage. But that's the only real disadvantage with it. It's got a great time to kill, great fire rate, whether using the 50 round magazine or the 20 round magazine. And it's overall going to be a good choice to win against pretty much any gun in the game. Now, talking about Devastation in particular, if you have seen previous 100 kill games which I've posted on Devastation, you will know the main power positions I say to stick to is going to be mid-map or in the center of the map, being here. If you're going to be, of course, staying in between C and B flag, the enemies have got B flag and are pushing to C flag. C flag is going to be one main, huge, big power position. Enemies are always going to be on the flag, whether your team holds the flag or the enemies hold the flag. There's always people going to there, defending it or attacking it. You're always going to find enemies there. And then the final other mini power position is going to be in between D and C flag, with that main route and corridor through the housing area. So that's kind of the main power positions. That's where I'm sticking around. There are going to be clips which I've cut out of all of these gameplays where I'm not in and around these main power positions, and the reason you never see them is because I never hit clips or get enough kills in those areas to showcase them in the videos, or I'm dying in those areas because they just aren't areas of the map that are good. So whenever you're seeing these 100 kill games, I'm always getting kills around all the clips in the video, all around the main power positions in the map, because that's where all the action happens. That's where I'm able to find the most amount of kills, and that's therefore the clips that are getting put into these videos. Now let's talk about this game in particular, and I'm going to explain my thoughts and what I'm thinking in this scenario in terms of map rotation as well, explaining the flags at the top, who's holding what flags, and therefore where I'm trying to move to find and capture that flow of enemies and where they're going to be going next, rather than going to the flags which they're holding. Because the flags which the enemies are actually holding, the red flags, the enemies are never going to be there. They might be able to spawn there, but they're always going to be running and flowing to a flag that you're holding. So that's kind of a key tip. And I thought I'd put that in slow motion there. Hopefully that doesn't freak you out. It's just a bit of a funny moment that was in the game. So yeah, stuck into this game now. What's happening here? You can see the enemies have got A and B flag. I am pushing the top of the church here by the organ. There's plenty of enemies camping up there, and as you see, I got 4 or 5 kills. But I'm going to push over to B back, and I'm going to hold again this little mini power position. There's always going to be enemies flowing straight through there from B to C flag, and so that's what I'm just doing here, waiting on the side, just making sure no enemies pushing up. And I'm never going to push onto B flag from here. It's too far to run. There's a 3-story library over there. There's so many dark corners that enemies can camp and different levels of elevation. It's very, very hard to stay alive over there, and there hardly is any enemies over there when you do go over there. So the main best thing you can do is hold this mini power position here, which again is in the center of the map, and just cut all the enemies off as they come from B flag to C flag. And once the enemies start capturing C flag, like they are now, from A flag, which they've also got, which is going to be their spawn in this game, then you can easily and quickly run straight from this mini power position on to the main power position of C flag to start getting kills there quickly, rather than being stuck on B flag and having a high risk of dying and then having to run all the way from B back to mid-map on C. So that's exactly what's happening here. I've held the mini power position between B and C flag. The enemies have now pushed from A and are capturing C, and I can push onto C flag to try and get some kills. I am unfortunately going to take a death here from enemies still pushing from B, which is just proof of that mini power position and showing how many enemies are continuously pushing through there. But in the next clip here, you can see we do get onto C flag and clear C flag off. The enemies have got D flag and they've just recaptured A flag. So my thinking here, of course, is going to be to push towards D flag. I don't want to push A flag. I want to make the game last as long as possible to make sure I can, of course, hit the 100 kill game, which is what I normally always want to go for. That's what motivates me to play and to do well. So I don't want to push their spawn flag of A and potentially get them in a spawn trap and therefore end the game early. I'm going to therefore push D flag and I'm gonna try and hold again the next mini power position, like the other side, which I just explained in the previous clip, being in between B and C flag. I'm now going to try and push into the mini power position, which is in between D and C flag. But in fact, that actually does not happen. I am going to stick and stay around C flag because the enemies pushed so fast from D flag and A flag that I got stuck in the building, and therefore, like, it's just evidence of how many people are always on or coming to or from C flag. So you're going to get another minute or two here now of me just getting kill after kill in the next 2 clips on C flag. Again, as proof of how many people are always here. And you could probably get a 100 kill game just by sticking and staying on C flag the whole game. You could make that a challenge video where you don't even run off of C flag and try to get 100 kills. It's very, very possible. While we fight in the church on C flag for the next minute or so, what comes up is just in front of me there on the left, and you'll see in the start of the next clip, in the next few seconds, the main kind of power position or place you want to stay on C flag to stay alive and get as many kills as possible is going to be by that pillar there in front of me. You've got the wooden debris there, which you can use as head glitch cover. You've got the pillar, which you can lean around and hide behind and fight people coming on all different sides. And it's got a bit of dip there, so any people coming from the main entrance behind me there, they can't see you directly as well, and you've kind of got a head glitch by there as well, even though you're not behind cover. So looking at the top of the screen now, you can see the enemies have only just captured B flag, which is the reason why I'm taking the choice to briefly push towards A flag. Any of the enemies were just spawning on B flag as they were capturing it. We're not going to be spawning directly on B flag. The game would spawn them towards A flag anyways. So you've got two lots of enemies potentially at A flag, being the A flag and B flag people who are spawning there. And the enemies, of course, only just capturing B flag are going to be all the way on B flag, which is somewhere I never go when playing Devastation Conquest because it's too far out of the way and too dangerous. So I get a few kills there on A flag and now push back towards B flag. And that brings us to the final 10 seconds of this video. I really hope you guys have enjoyed. I hope some of the things which I've explained you can understand and maybe try and practice as well when you play Devastation Conquest for the next time. Of course, if you don't jump out when you get to Rotterdam after playing Al Marj. And yeah, make sure you smash a like, and I will see you guys on the next video.
Cover the map and still ain't know where you can find me at. Journey through the mind of an insomniac. I ain't never sleep, staying ready, keep an eye out for the fakes, for the snakes. Load a clip and I'ma pull it, something shakes.